The veil, everything changed. The heavy wooden doors of the Prescott estate creaked open as Ethan stepped into the grand hall, the sound of his shoes echoing against the marble. The house smelled the same, polished oak, expensive perfume, but tonight it reeked of something else. Betrayal. He had flown in from New York on short notice, pulled away from a critical investor meeting, summoned back to Boston by his parents without explanation. He expected drama, not this. "I hope this is not what I think it is," Ethan said, stepping into the sitting room, where his parents awaited like monarchs on thrones. His father, William Prescott, folded his newspaper with precision. His mother, Eleanor, wore pearls and that unreadable expression that once terrified Wall Street analysts. "We're not asking," William said. "You are getting married." Ethan laughed, dry, sharp. "You cannot be serious." "She's a good girl," Eleanor added calmly. "Kind, quiet. From a modest background, yes, but respectable." "A modest background?" Ethan scoffed. "What does that mean?" "She doesn't come from wealth," William said, "but she has character, grace. And she once did something for this family we can never repay." "So this is charity?" Ethan turned toward the fireplace. "Or some kind of debt repayment." Eleanor's tone sharpened. "This is not a punishment. It's a chance, for both of you." He faced them, anger rising. "You want me to marry someone I've never met, who won't even show her face? You think I'll stand at the altar and hope for the best?" "She wears a veil for personal reasons," William said. "You'll respect that." "That's exactly what I won't do. How am I supposed to trust someone who hides their face?" "You'll meet her tomorrow," Eleanor said, standing. Her voice brooked no argument. "And you'll treat her with decency. I don't owe her anything." "You owe this family everything," William said. "And you'll see, she's worth more than you think." Ethan stormed out, rage burning in his chest. He poured himself a whiskey and stepped onto the veranda. The evening air did little to cool him. The next evening, the Prescott estate felt unnaturally quiet. Even the staff moved like they were preparing for a funeral, not a meeting. Ethan stood in the drawing room, adjusting the cuffs of his black shirt. His mother entered, followed by a tall woman in a cream dress. His gaze snapped to her. She moved gracefully, head slightly bowed. Her face was hidden behind a sheer white veil that draped past her chest. Only her golden hair and a pair of quiet, solemn eyes were visible. Ethan's jaw tightened. "This is Lillian Moore," Eleanor said, too smoothly. "Lillian, this is Ethan." Lillian nodded politely. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Prescott." Ethan said nothing. No smile, no handshake, just a cool, unreadable stare. Lillian stood still, her voice poised and calm. She didn't flinch under his silence. But Ethan's irritation was obvious. His eyes stayed fixed on the veil. No scar, no explanation, just mystery. "Are you going to say anything?" Eleanor whispered sharply. Ethan stepped back, gave a curt nod, and turned away. His impression was set. She might be kind, quiet, everything his parents claimed, but to him, she was still a stranger wrapped in fabric, and he had no interest in unwrapping the mystery. Not now, not ever. The Prescott estate had never looked more lavish. Golden chandeliers sparkled above towering floral arrangements. White roses lined every corridor. The ceremony took place in the grand ballroom, transformed into a vision of wealth and tradition. Waiters in tuxedos glided silently, serving champagne and hors d'oeuvres. A string quartet played a somber melody that floated over the murmurs of the guests. But beneath the grandeur, the air felt tight, strained, like everyone was holding their breath. The whispers started early. "Have you seen her? She always wears that veil. Who marries someone they've never seen? Is she ill? Or hiding something? Must be a debt. No one does this unless they owe someone big." Ethan stood at the altar, stiff in his tailored navy suit, jaw clenched. He didn't scan the crowd. He wasn't interested in who came. He just wanted it over with. Then the music changed. All heads turned toward the entrance as the bride appeared, walking slowly down the aisle on the arm of a distant relative. The murmurs faded, but the tension grew. Lillian Moore. She wore a simple white gown, modest, elegant, far from the designer dresses expected of a Prescott bride. Her face remained hidden beneath a sheer white veil. Only her long blonde hair and muted gray-blue eyes peeked through the gauzy layer. She walked with calm grace, seemingly untouched by the stares around her. Ethan didn't reach for her hand when she arrived. She folded hers in front of her. The officiant hesitated, then proceeded. The vows were spoken without feeling. Ethan recited his like a business contract. Lillian's voice was quiet but steady, as if she had accepted this long before. The room remained hushed. "And now," the officiant said, trying to sound cheerful, "you may kiss the bride." Some guests leaned forward, hopeful, waiting for the mystery to end. Ethan paused, then, slowly, he stepped forward, leaned in, and placed a brief kiss on the edge of the veil, covering her cheek. No contact, no emotion, just formality. Polite applause followed, sparse, hollow. The reception, held in the adjacent ballroom, was equally grand, but joyless. Ethan barely stayed at the head table, constantly stepping away to take calls or speak to investors. He didn't look at Lillian. He didn't speak to her. She remained seated, quiet and composed, responding politely to the few who approached her. Her veil stayed in place the entire night. By the end, the room felt like a museum, ornate and cold. Ethan retreated to the library for a drink. Lillian followed, as tradition required. When she entered, he was already pouring whiskey into a crystal glass. He didn't offer her one. "You could have at least pretended to enjoy it," he said bitterly, not turning around. There was a pause. "I didn't come here to play pretend." He faced her, glass in hand. His voice sharpened. "Then why are you here? What are you hiding, Lillian? What's so terrible beneath that veil that you can't even look your own husband in the eye?" She stood still, hands loosely clasped. The veil shimmered in the firelight, but she made no move to lift it. "You think this is how people fall in love?" he continued. "You show up, say nothing, and expect me to accept this like it's fate?" Her voice, soft but steady, came at last. "I never expected you to accept anything." "Then what?" he snapped. "You think you earned this marriage just because my parents think they owe you?" "I never asked for anything," she replied calmly. "Oh, come on. A poor girl gets a ticket into one of the richest families in Boston, and I'm supposed to believe you didn't want that?" Her head tilted slightly. Her voice stayed even. "I never asked to be your wife." She stepped closer, not confrontational, but firm. Her words fell like stone. "I never asked anyone to repay me. I never asked for favors, and I certainly never asked you to love me." Ethan stared at her. For the first time that night, he had no answer. He looked at her, really looked, but the veil still stood between them, along with everything he thought he knew. And for the first time, something crept in that he hadn't expected: doubt. The house was quieter after the wedding. Not the elegant kind of quiet that usually lingered in the Prescott estate, but something colder, thicker. The kind of silence that came from two people sharing space while pretending the other didn't exist. Ethan returned to his routines like nothing had changed. He left for the office early each morning, barely touching the breakfast laid out. Some nights he didn't return until midnight. Others, he slept in a guest room or in his study, laptop glowing under dim light. He and Lillian rarely spoke. They shared the same home, but not the same life. Even the staff noticed. The maids tread lightly, whispering near the master suite. The butler, Harold, once suggested moving dinner to a smaller room to feel less distant. Ethan ignored him. Lillian, meanwhile, remained present. She never intruded or tried to force herself into his day. Instead, she quietly slipped into the rhythm of the house, like a missing piece no one realized was missing. She woke early, often helping in the kitchen though it wasn't expected. She spoke gently to the staff, remembered names, asked about their families. She learned the gardener's wife had arthritis and the housekeeper's son had just started college. She made tea for Mrs. Langley, the cook, every afternoon, and complimented her spice blend so sincerely it brought tears to the woman's eyes. but most of all, she cared for Ethan's mother. Eleanor Prescott, always composed and strong, had grown frail, dizzy spells, trembling hands, shortness of breath. She refused doctors unless absolutely necessary. But Lillian noticed everything. She made Eleanor lighter meals when nausea hit, brought a heated blanket when it turned cold, adjusted cushions when they were too firm. And when Eleanor couldn't walk upstairs, Lillian sat with her, reading softly from old family novels. No one asked her. She just did it.